Junkies, and welcome back. Horror Junkies 509, Kyle the 13th, coming at you again, you guys. And today is going to be my review on 2014's The Town That Dreaded Sundown. Not to be confused by 1976's The Town That Dreaded Sundown, but I will be talking about both these throughout this review. This one I have already reviewed. I reviewed it on the gory details quite a while ago, so if you want to check it out, I highly recommend you do if you have not seen this before. So, to get right into this movie, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and say the director is Alfonso Gomez Rejon. I'm probably butchering that because it's either Rejon or Rejon. And Rejon doesn't make any sense to me, so I'm going to go Rejon. Only other thing this guy is directed that I really noticed is he kind of does work on American Horror Story. I don't watch those, so I don't have anything to say about them really, so yeah, not really helpful there. Kind of a couple familiar faces for this movie is Veronica Cartwright. She was in the original Alien movie, so I definitely wanted to mention her. And then kind of one I really needed to mention was Edward Herman. He was in The Lost Boys. He was Max, the head vampire. So being that he was in The Lost Boys, I definitely wanted to make sure I mentioned him. And this was the second to the last movie he did before he died at 71. So I think that's really kind of cool. Town That Dreaded Sundown 2014, you guys. Definitely really excited that he was in this movie because, you know, I thought he was a really good actor and, you know, who knew that he was going to be gone shortly after making this. So for me to go ahead and get right into the plot of this, you guys, this is a little bit kind of confusing, but I'm going to do it the best I can. So, every year on Halloween in this movie, they watched this movie. So, I think this is a sequel to this, but it's kind of like got that human centipede thing going on. If you guys haven't seen those, I'm sorry, but in the second Human Centipede movie, they watched the first one. So, I mean, I think they're definitely sequels. It's just, I think they're in different universes in some way, shape, or form. So that's how I'm going to go about that, is that sequels, but different universe. So, to kind of get into the plot of this, so these are based on true events. The one from this movie was made from the true events that actually happened in Texas Arcana way back in like the 40s, 1940s, I think. So that's where this comes from. This is supposed to be like sort of in the real world because they're watching this movie. So this has more correlation with the true events, I think, than this one does. In some weird shape or form. So, like I said, this was going to be a little bit confusing. But to get right into the plot, like I said, every Halloween they watch the original movie in this movie. And this time there's a couple that are going to see the movie. The girl kind of is looking at the kills and getting a little squeamish and saying, you know, I really don't like movies like this. So they take off. They drive off and they're going to go to a little secluded place and make out. Because, you know, that's what teenagers do. But that's kind of like the downfall of the kids in the original one. So that's where this movie really starts and picks up, because the Phantom is back. The Phantom attacks these kids. The boy gets stabbed in the back and killed, and the girl gets away, but the Phantom eventually catches up with her, and he kind of gives her a message for Mary. So kind of roughs her up a little bit and sends her back to society. She crawls back to the theater. So basically, once they start seeing her and she's starting to spout off that the Phantom's back, all hell starts breaking loose. The town starts dreading sundown again, just like in the first one. So the rest of the movie basically is a whodunit kind of thing, because they're thinking like, you know, can this be the original Phantom? Because in the original Phantom got away. They never discovered who it was or where he went. He disappeared. So, but this movie, this takes place 66 years from the original murders. So obviously this guy would be over 100 years old. So that's not obviously possible. So the question is it the original Phantom or is it a copycat killer? That's basically what they're trying to figure out throughout the rest of the movie. So there's some great kills throughout the entire movie, along with trying to figure out who the Phantom is. And that's basically going to be my 2 cents of a plot for you guys, because I really want you guys to go ahead and watch this. I'm not going to ruin this movie for you. I really love this movie. I love both of them. These are great films if you haven't checked them out. So to get right into my likes and dislikes, you guys, one of the things I really like is in this one, it's really mockumentary style because it's got a narrator throughout a good chunk of it. and I think it's a really cool thing they did back in the end. I don't think it would work so much now, but I think for this time period, I think it really works. There's a little bit of narration by the main girl in this movie. It's not too bad. But one thing I like is, like, every time they go to a different location, they'll have what it is, like, say the police station, and it'll be the Arkansas side or the Texas side. So it's kind of got that mockumentary case files feel to it, which is kind of cool. But like I said, it's not narrated throughout the entire thing as much as this one, I should say. But the girl does have a little bit of narration for it. And I like that. I like that little atmosphere that it gives, the feeling of it. It feels like you're watching like a real case file kind of thing. This movie has some really cool camera work and editing. It really reminds me of Evil Dead a lot. A lot of the cool shots that it does. Like the girls running through the forest and they kind of have the camera tilted on the side. So it kind of gives you a different little view of it. I mean, like you're holding your head like that, but I mean, I appreciate it when they kind of put in their own creativity like that. And then one of the really good things about the editing of this movie is it has really great practical effects, but I feel like it has a couple CGI moments that would be ruined if like the camera was just on it, but you kind of see it and cuts away pretty quick. So even if the CGI wasn't that great, I don't feel like they show it enough to where it's gonna bug you. So that's one thing I want to throw in as well with the camera editing and the camera work, because I think they really did a really good job. They do some really cool shots where this girl's reading like articles from the old murders and stuff like that, and you can see the text like running through her eyes, which I thought was really cool. Probably not a lot of people are gonna think that's that cool, but I like it when they do like little cool stuff like that, little editing tricks, or just just stuff to be visually kind of cool, like whether it's something completely outside the box or something that's a little normal but just tweaked a little bit. I like that stuff. So the next thing on my list is the practical effects, you guys. I think just the blood, the knives, and everything. This killer uses a knife a lot, but he also uses a gun. One of my favorite kills in this movie is the sheriff. I believe it's the sheriff is getting a blowjob, just enjoying it, and then he looks out the window, just like she's still going, and he's looking out the window, and he sees the Phantom with a gun, gets shot right in the eye, right in mid Pleasure City, and I just thought that was awesome. I think part of it is CGI, and part of it's practical effects. But if you guys have seen this, fill me in. I do believe it's kind of a mixture, but it looks pretty good. And I highly enjoy that. But like I said, if you guys are looking for a pretty decent practical effects movie, this is definitely a good one to check out. Next, the last thing I got on my like list is recreating kills. In this movie, he recreates some of the kills that he did in this movie. For example, there's a kill in the first one where he ties this girl up to a tree, and he uses her trombone with a knife attached to it, and just, as he's playing it, just stabs her in the back. And so he recreates that one in this movie, but a little bit different. It's a guy this time, and he's like in like a junkyard or something like that. It was like a sign junkyard, kind of like they have in Vegas. One other cool thing they kind of do with this movie in the editing that I wanted to mention that I forgot is they kind of edit some of the old movie in it as well. Like when people are like, like installing locks and like, making sure their blinds are down and stuff like that. They kind of do show parts from the first movie and then how they're doing it in this movie because, it's 66 years later, so things are going to be different this time. I really like that they did that. They really brought in the first movie very well, and I really enjoyed how they did that. So going into my dislikes, this first one isn't quite a dislike. It's just a fucking cringy thing. I just not good at it. There's a kill where this girl is jumping out of her window, out of her hotel room, and she lands, and the bone pops out of her fucking ankle when she breaks it, and it's so fucking cringeworthy. Every time I watch this movie, I'm just like, ugh! Whenever the bone pops out of the skin, I can't handle it. I'm not good at it. I enjoy it. I love it when they make it look good, but I can't handle it. So it's really not necessarily a dislike, but it's definitely the cringeworthy moment of this movie. And this really isn't something else I hated. It's just something I wanted to mention. It has the most awkward, and I mean awkward sex scene, or not sex scene, but gay scene between these two guys that were playing music. One of them was a trombone player, one of them was a trumpet player, and they just go off and they sit in a secluded area and they're sitting in their car, basically going to be the little make-out point. But you can definitely tell it was like their first rendezvous as a gay couple, so it was just really awkward. It's like, trying to get something going on with your lover for the first time. You're just like, well, I don't know, you could just suck it or whatever. So it's just really awkward. I didn't hate it. It was just hilarious, but it definitely leaves you uncomfortable, just as uncomfortable as these actors probably were. So that's my likes and dislikes, you guys. I really, really do recommend this film. I can't recommend it enough. I do love both of them, like I've said probably too many times. But what am I going to go ahead and rank this movie at? Excuse me, guys. I'm going to go ahead and give this a solid 8. I used to give this movie a 7, but the more I watch it, the more I like it. I just feel like it flows with this movie really well, even though it's like different universes. I just really enjoy it. The kills, I love the killer, I love the sack mask. No matter if it's Friday the 13th Part 2 or either one of these Town That Dreaded Sundowns, love the sack mask. And I just feel like, how they went about it was really cool. Like, I know it's just, it's obviously been something done before because they did it in Human Centipede, but I really feel like they were trying to do something fresh as possible. I mean, it's hard to be original anymore. So, solid 8 for the Horror Junkies 509. That's going to do it for me on this episode of the Junkie Movie Reviews, episode T. So, you guys, I'm coming down. Like I said, I only got 6 episodes left, and I'll have done the whole alphabet. So, look forward to that, you guys. So, we'll look forward to what's next. So, that's going to do it for me. Horror Junkies 509, Kyle the 13th, signing out. Just until next time, you guys. And you guys already know it. I've been sentenced to life. I'm a horror lifer. And I don't dread Sundown. I'm a graveyarder. You guys have a killer day. Yo, what's going on, fellow junkies, fellow horror fans, subscribers, the new and the old? I hope you guys really enjoyed what you saw here. If you guys want to leave me a like and a comment, let me know that you enjoyed it. And if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification button so you guys can come back and see me again. Horror Junkies 509, Kyle the 13th. That's right, I'm a horror lifer.